Unfortunately, some bad news about the bonnet. If you saw the update video, I returned it because it was damaged. And then once they got it back, they didn't bother to call me or anything. They just processed a refund and sent me an email saying that that was the last one and it's now a deleted line. So they're not making any more. They didn't even give me the option to keep the damaged one, which if you saw in the photos, it wasn't that bad. I could have repaired it, I just didn't want to, that's why I was returning it. Had I known that it was the last bonnet available, I would have repaired it. So that understandably is shit me off a bit. So I did a little bit of shopping and bought some tools instead. One of the things I picked up is this little spot sandblaster. So you put your grip in here, it's got a little collection bag and a couple of different nozzles. So at the moment I'm just going to have a go at some of these rust spots. You can see I did a little test spot here and it's already dulled the paint with just a second of putting it on there. It comes with all these different nozzles. These ones are going to be really good for getting down in here. There's not much rust in the car at all. You can see little spots down here. I've got some rust. That's not rust. That's the old seam sealer there, but up here. And then just there's a couple of spots like this where the seatbelt has been caught in the door. And a few little nicks like that. I don't think I've actually shown you the interior of the ute. It's a bit dirty now. But she's actually very clean for her age. A bit dusty because she's been sitting in the garage. I've got the 10-inch fusion between the seats. It's in a fiberglass box though. Custom fit and made up. Yes, unfortunately she's auto. A conversion is on the cards, but that is the nicest auto Commodore box, old Commodore box that I've driven. I've had it open and it's just pristine inside and it shifts really well, so I just don't see a point in replacing a perfectly good transmission. So we'll just keep that until I kill it, then we'll have to take the box out anyway, so I'll go manual at that point. That actually worked a lot better than I expected. Focus. 10 minutes. If that. If I could bloody focus on it. You can see it's worn out a lot of that rust, if not all of it. Basically get up against it, push it on and blast it, and then everything's supposed to be caught in that bag. I don't think mine's sealing very well, but if you've ever sandblasted, that's nothing. So what I'll do now is a quick prep wipe over this. I don't think I'll do the other side, because I want to get some sanding done on the tailgate. And she's off. For anyone wondering, those are the brackets, just a couple of bolts really. And then you just have to get the angle right and slide it out so that you don't bend here. which I managed to do. Not managed to bend it, managed to get it out right, I mean. Oh, there you go. Focus. Look at that, I once had a wasp nest in my car. Crazy. So now I've got it at a good working height. Could probably go a bit lower. Got a bit of sanding knocked out. I've just blown off the dust and given it a wipe over with prep so you can actually see where I'm at. Knocked out a lot of the high spots, and these darker ones you can see are my low spots. This line's pretty much smooth. I can still feel the edges, so it's going to need a fair bit of edge work still. And then I've got a good low spot here. I need to work the edges of this one. I've only done a little bit of sanding on this one, that's why the edges are still so rough. Still going to knock down all of this. Haven't even started over here. So there's a fair bit to go still. I just wanted to check in. I'll probably fill this low spot for now, because that's quite low still. Feel a definite dip with my fingers there. Just to try and get this built up to the rest. And then I'll try and smooth it out a bit. Just smooth these edges. Top's looking good, starting to get through there. There's still, again, a couple of low spots. And I think I'm just going to hit some primer over these where I've rubbed through to the metal. Well, I've done a little bit more sanding. I primed those spots I said I would, and a bit more filling over the low areas, and she's starting to look straight again, which is great. Still got a lot of work to do down here. Did a little bit of filling here in these spots. This spot needs a bit more filling, but it also needs a bit of sanding first, so I left that. Just put a tiny light skim coat over that just to help for when I sand it later. So she's looking good now. Still a lot more work to go to get her ready for paint. We haven't even started on the other side, which isn't so good, but that's not really going to get, that's not going to be too much work. The tray is just going to get one of those spray-on bed liners, so I'm not really worried about repairing anything except for the hole that you saw in a previous episode that's left from the gas conversion that I had. It's wet and rainy out here. Cold too, so I might do a little bit of sanding after this sets off, otherwise I'll just put it away. I'll just slide it into that spot there. Yeah, happy with that. Can definitely recommend the cheap DA sander from Super Cheap as well. Just picked up something cheap to get me moving again, and actually much better than I thought it would be. It's so cold that the body filler is taking a while to set off, so I've just chucked her in the tray. I'm just gonna call it a day because I can barely feel my fingers and I'm covered in sanding dust. Well, it's the next day and I've gone to make a start on sanding, but
the body feel is still soft. So I'm not sure what's happened there, whether I've not added enough of the hardener or something like that. So that was a waste of time. Just going to dust over this spot where I've gone through the paint, and then put this away, and I think I'm going to call it a weekend because that's shit me off now. It just seems to be these couple of spots up here. These, oh no, these are pretty soft still too. Okay, I've got a little bit done. I've ignored sort of that side. Just gone over, filled here. I mean, primed over this section and where the exposed metal was. There was a tiniest bit of a dip, so I've just given a nice skim coat of body filler. So that should be ready for its final sanding and priming. And over here there was a bit of damage. This corner wasn't quite round, so I've just filled in some body filler in there. It looks a bit rough at the moment, but there's only really a little dip in sort of this section here, so we just got to round that off, sand it smooth. Got a break in the rain for a few minutes. A week's passed since everything you've just seen, so I've got a little bit of sanding. I just filled that spot. There was a low spot over here, so I've just skimmed over the whole thing, and that should be the last coat of body filler for that area. These patches, obviously didn't put enough hardener in because it hasn't cured up properly, so I'm sanding all these out. Where it's the lighter pink is actually nice and solid. It's this darker area that's still a bit soft. So I'm sanding all that, and I'll skim over all of that again. Luckily they're not deep, but like here, there's some in a low spot, so it'll be a little bit of extra work, but again, it's not a thick layer. Yeah, I just spotted. Oh, they won't show up on camera, I'm sure. Oh, if you can see just there, it's a little dent. You can see as the reflection of the house sort of dips down into it and stretches out. And same here, if I get in that little bit of shadow, you can just see a little dent there. I didn't notice those earlier, so they'll get just a quick little fill over. Might do that now actually, just give it a quick sand and just sort of fill this whole spot to make sure they're good and covered. Alright, let's go back to that. I won't be doing any more sanding or any more filling. Just realised it's 3 o'clock and I've got to go down the street soon, so I won't have time to do any more on the tailgate today. So before I finish up, just got the rear of the tub. I'm just going to give it a quick sand. Kins needs it. It's just the rust converter on there. There was a couple of little pinholes with the rust, so I just sort of sprayed over the whole area because I needed to finish the can off anyway. That's why it's a bit speckly in places. Yep, that'll be right. Starts pissing down as soon as I start spraying. So I've put a quick coat of primer on there. I haven't done the back side or these little bits here. I want to do a bit more sanding on those because they're just a bit awkward. So I'm going to have to leave it there. Of course, being me, I haven't really thought this through. And I don't have anywhere to put this until the paint dries, so I'm going to go figure that out. Suppose that can be it for today's episode. Oh, this episode. So if you have been watching along, thank you. Hope you're enjoying everything. There's a ute. She sits at the moment. Pile of crap on her, pile of body parts. More tools, more body parts. I need to get to work on filling these and sanding them. And of course, what everyone wants to hear about. We need to do something about this. Some light. Sorry, I don't have the lights, the extra lights I usually have in here. This has got to come out. Looks like. I've been weighing up my options, and from my napkin maths, it looks like it's going to be just cheaper and easier to swap in an L67, one of the supercharged versions of this motor, rather than actually going through the effort of supercharging this. So, with any luck, if tax time's good to me, instead of the shiny plenum we have here, we'll be seeing an Eaton M90. It is a shame though, because I did not too long ago spend quite a bit on the Mace manifold insulator and the plenum spacer. So they'll have to come out. Probably sell those unless someone wants it with the motor. And luckily we'll be able to keep the Mace airbox, which I think that was close to $200 on its own, so it'd be good to hold on to that. So the ute's coming along a bit slowly at the moment because we're saving for a holiday towards the end of the year. But then after that, hopefully I can just start dumping a bit more money into her.
The next day.
I'm just working on getting that body filler that went bad out. So I'm almost there. I've had to come back to bare metal in some sections. It's looking, I've just got a little bit here to get rid of. Just down here, the darker section. And just these bits where there's some low spots. And then I'm just going to give the area a good final sand. Work on this spot, and then we'll fill in again what I've just taken out. I've got a ton of sanding done. I had to go back to bare metal in sort of this section down here. I didn't have to, but I wanted to make sure that I'd gotten out all of that body filler. And there was a couple of bare metal sections around here. So I've just gone over and given a quick coat of filler primer just to cover up any of that bare metal. Oh, looks like I've missed a spot here. and just to give me a good base on that bare metal for the next layer of body filler to stick to. There's not all that much on the car. Most of it's been sanded off at this point. So I just need to sort of fill in a low section here in the middle. And just here. And then, yeah, refill in this damage down here. And then after that, it's just little things like this spot down here, these couple of little dints that I found yesterday, fix up the top, and fix up down here. I've got some old body filler lying around, so I'm gonna have a look and see if any of that's good, because I'm not sure. I say old, it's not that old. Then hopefully I can, if I've got enough, get all the filling done today. And that way this just needs to have the badges come off and then be primed and be ready for paint. Okay, so I got a fair bit done. But that body filler that I had spare was alright. So I filled that in and it's setting properly, unlike the other stuff. I don't think I mixed that well enough, for sure. I haven't done any sanding on it yet. I can already tell I need to put a little bit more in this area, a little bit more here, a little bit more down there. We'll see once we sand the rest of this, if this needs any more. And while I was waiting for that to dry, I went ahead and I stripped the lights off the ute and stripped off the plate. Because Rego's run out, so that doesn't matter anymore. Next week, I'll pick up some more body filler and hopefully get this finished away next weekend. And I'm also going to get some rust converter and pull this off. It's quite a little bit of rust behind there. Get that coated, and maybe if I find time and energy, pull off the tub rails and clear out the back so I can get started on rust proofing that, and then that'll be hopefully prepped and ready for the mental blank. That'll be hopefully prepped and ready for the bed liner after that. Still a little bit to do. You can see just got little spots like this around the car. Nothing major, no actual like holes or anything like that. But yeah, just some rust. She's starting to show her age. And she wasn't kept very clean until I got her. Alright, well, I said a few times already that that's it. That's the last. That's the last of it for today. Alright, thanks for watching. I know this one's been a long one, and not much has happened really. But it's getting there. It's a slow and steady process. Alright. See ya.